everybody. If you see me looking over, I got two screens going. Um, so happy Tuesday, Taco Tuesday. I hope everybody's week has been good so far. And if it hasn't been, I hope that it gets better. Today, I'm going to actually share some lessons with you that every couple can benefit from no matter where you are in your relationship. So today is going to be the first of a three-part series. I'm going to do one part today, so now, tomorrow, and then Thursday. But what I want to talk about is the healing power of vulnerability, because my time being a coach and a mentor, I've learned a lot about just how people think, how couples think, and how their emotions play a big part in how they show up in relationships. And vulnerability is one place that is often forgotten about that has this powerful impact on your connection in your relationship. And it's like it just doesn't exist. And I felt like because of that, it was important for me to cover because most marriages lack that emotional connection. And if we talk about splitting marriages in half by gender, men and women, we start looking up, we start getting statistics like 84% of women say that their relationships don't have the emotional intimacy that they want or the emotional intimacy that they need. And if we get more specific, 83% of women feel like their partners don't understand their need for emotional closeness. And that's a large chunk of marriages. And half of you aren't married, but are in long-term relationships, hoping to get married. And that's still the statistic. Majority of couples aren't experiencing that closeness that helps the relationship thrive. So if we go over to the men, studies show that men struggle with emotional connection because of, societal expectations and personal experiences and lack of emotional awareness. So that means that one, traditional gender roles in society often pressure men to suppress their emotions, in an effort to present themselves as, more manly or more strong. Two, there's a lack of a positive emotional role model, in their environment or growing up, that was hindering them from being able to connect emotionally. So they didn't have that role model in their household or in their environment to positively impact them on an emotional level. And three is that, men aren't fully aware, not all. So I don't like to put people in the box, but just because of the studies and the statistics, it's saying majority of men aren't fully aware of their own emotions or how to express them. And four, just because of that societal pressure of, being manly and not showing emotion, they fear being judged if they do. So with all of these, and I've learned this just with experiencing couples in my sessions and how they interact and how they talk and how they think, that this is the case. And through all of that, I know that men and women, married couples alike, are frustrated and unhappy because there's this big gap in the relationship between needing that emotional closeness and not knowing how to give it. And it's like a battle. But in between that gap is vulnerability. Vulnerability has its healing power. So one of the most profound things that I learned from coaching couples is that vulnerability is not a weakness. It's a doorway to strength. It's a doorway to intimacy. Because I'll hear in my sessions that, oh, well, I'm not weak, and vulnerability is not a reflection of that. It's quite the opposite. being able to allow yourself to express how you think, how you feel, your desires. It's actually harder than it is to keep it to yourself. Taking those steps to actually be vulnerable requires you to be strong. It requires your mental capacity to stretch. And so many couples will struggle, and maybe, you're one of them where you're struggling because you're feeling like, because you're holding back what you truly feel, what you truly think, and you're afraid of showing who you truly are. You're thinking that if I show my fears, if I show my insecurity, if I share my hopes, that who I truly am at my core, if you share that somehow you'll push your partner away. But in reality, vulnerability is what's going to actually draw you closer. It's what's going to create the trust that you can share anything with your partner and know that your feelings are safe. And that's actually what's going to really allow you to get to know your partner for who they really are at their core. Allow you to actually understand where they've been, how those experiences impacted them. Or maybe those experiences are still impacting them now and determining how they're showing up in your relationship. Talking about those experiences and understanding your partner gives you an opportunity to get so much closer to them and be able to understand how you can support them through those struggles. And this is so valuable because when you allow yourself to truly be seen for who you are, with all of your imperfections and all of your fears, you're able to create this little space where your partner feels safe to do the same with you. So it's not going to happen overnight where you start sharing and then your partner just automatically just starts pouring out their heart to you. It's going to take time, especially if they're not used to doing that. But if you can create that space for both of you, for them, where you can share all your flaws, all your fears, then over time, they're going to feel safe enough with you to where they can do the same. Keep sharing with yourself, keep showing up, keep asking those curious questions about them. And they will allow themselves to be themselves around you and become vulnerable little by little. So if you allow yourself to open up, you're going to start to build this bond that will eventually become unbreakable because you've built this emotional connection on authenticity and truth, instead of trying to present yourself as someone or something that you're not. Because how hard is that to every day pretend that you feel okay when you're not? To pretend that you're not hurting when you are? To want to have someone to talk to about your hurts and your fears and your desires, but you feel like you have to put on this persona so you can't. That's hard. But what's harder, that or allowing yourself to open up and show your true self to the one that you love the most and be able to build this connection that nobody could come between? Vulnerability is also valuable because, like I talked about in the beginning, it allows you to break down these walls. I'm in that bubble with you guys. I used to be in that bubble, I should say. with you guys where I built up this wall because I had been hurt and I had been in situations where I felt like, oh, nobody cares. So I learned to be this hyper independent person, relying on myself and never talk about my feelings unless I was angry. Then you got an earful. But anything other than that, I never addressed until I had to. So vulnerability is important in that way because it's easy to put up walls when you've been hurt or when you've experienced a trauma. But just as much as those walls keep the pain out, they also keep your emotional intimacy out. And you could be experiencing that. It's like the walls block out everything. So you can't want this deep, emotional, long-lasting, meaningful type of love if you have this wall up, because it's going to repel that love too. Vulnerability is the only way to be able to let the type of love that you want in. It's about being able to look at your partner and say, I trust you with the parts of me that I've been hiding, even from myself. Can you say that to your partner? Can your partner say that to you? I trust you with the parts of me that I've been hiding from you. I trust you with the parts of me that I've been hiding from myself. Have you created a space for your partner and you to be able to have that type of emotional security and feel protected with your emotions, no matter what they are? Do you have that? It's like vulnerability is the heart of true intimacy. Just like our heart keeps us up and running and functioning, it's the core of how we exist. Well, not how we exist, but how we function. Vulnerability is that for relationships. It's the core of how you're able to function at optimal levels. So it's in those, like imagine just being in this space, in this quiet space, this quiet moment, the raw moment of sharing your deepest thoughts, your deepest feelings. It's in those moments where you actually can experience the luxury of the deepest connection possible that you can have with your partner. It's like when you're sharing your fears and your dreams and your insecurities, your desires and your flaws without fearing that your partner's going to judge you, that's when you're able, it's like that's when you start leveling up. That's when you start unlocking the love that's beyond just the surface level affection. So when I say surface level affection, the I love yous, the holding hands, the forehead kiss, like sure, we love those things, right? They make us feel good. They make us feel loved. But those are indeed surface level affection. For lasting, long-term, meaningful, fulfilling, desirable love that has this deep connection emotionally, that's when you create that raw space, that's when you get that. That's when you go from surface level affection and you start traveling to the depths of emotional connection. So it's that kind of love that makes sure that problems don't persist because it's grounded in your authenticity. It's grounded in truth and not who you're pretending to be or what you're pretending to feel. So if you don't take anything away from this, take away this. Vulnerability isn't about being perfect, and it's not about having all the answers. It's literally just about showing up as your true authentic self and then inviting your partner into the conversation to do the same. It's in that gap, it's in that space where love begins to flourish. So that's why vulnerability is so important. It's like, if there should be nothing that you don't know about your partner. There should be nothing that your partner is feeling that you can't talk about. There should be nothing your partner should, there should be not one fear, one desire, one insecurity that your partner can't share with you. And you should be welcoming and loving and understanding and asking curious questions on, how is this affecting you right now? How did this affect you in the past? Like, you can talk to me. I know it's hard, but try. So if you are in this space right now where you feel like you need more support with this, instead of continuing on building your brick walls or hiding behind your brick walls, if you're ready to start taking the bricks down and you feel like you need support with that, DM me so we can take the first step. You don't have to be on this journey alone. Like, of course you have your partner, but if you two aren't doing it, wanting to do things, the coaching together, it's perfectly okay if one of you does it. But if you are at that place where you're like, I have been building more layers of bricks, I've been comfortable hiding behind this wall, not realizing how damaging it is to my emotional connection to my wife or to my husband. If you're in a place where you're like, yeah, the emotional closeness in my relationship, I'm unhappy with that, but I don't really know how to move forward in fixing it, DM me so we can talk about what you want, what you need, what's working, what's not, and just take your first step on what you want intimacy in your relationship to look like. So go ahead and put it in the chat, something that you took away from this training today, or put it in the comments, like the biggest thing that you took away from today's training. And I hope that it resonated with you and that it hit you, where it should have for you and your partner. All right, guys, I love you. I will see you in the next training.